In recent years, the United Nations has considered Oxfam the world's leading agency in water and sanitation. My name is Paul Sherlock. I'm the technical coordinator of the public health engineering team in Oxfam. And today we're going to take you into our Bristol warehouse where we've got the equipment which is the basis of all of our approach. So let's go in right now. The overall impact of this equipment and this kit, the amount of people that it has saved in terms of their lives, is uncountable. We actually done so many large-scale projects. Water and sanitation is the sort of underpinning of good health. And I think that's where we fit into the system these days. I mean, Oxfam doesn't have a large clinical health side. MSF and others do that. So what we do, we play our role within inside of the sort of the world aid community in terms of the water and sanitation. And I think this is where the impact of us, from our side, have been on the use of this equipment. And every major displacement of refugees and conflict, I think probably in the last 20 years, have used this Oxfam equipment. All the doctors would say the underlying problem is water and sanitation. And if you can solve that, you can provide an adequate water and sanitation, then the job of the medical services to address the diseases it can then go into place.
First of all, we supplied things like blankets and food. What we found in disaster situations is always the people who came out into a disaster normally got ill after they'd fled or they ran away, because often their water supplies were so polluted, because they have often no ability to carry the water except with little pots, is that they're going into that riverbed, into that water supply, to gather their water, to wash their clothes, to wash their babies, and so on and so on. And of course, very quickly, that supply, that river supply, will become even more polluted than it may already be. We decided earlier on that the first thing we had to do was to take the water to the people and the people not come to the water supply. The water gathering area has to be protected, and we protect it not with barbed wire and guns or fences, but by supplying water much closer to them. How do you bring water up out of the lake, out of the pond, out of the river, up into the community? So that means, of course, water storage. We realised on the marketplace here in Britain, there were these huge grain silos, these great metal containers running up often 50 or 60 feet, which you often see on a farm, which are grain stores. And when we looked at those, we realised that providing we got a heavier steel and talked with the company and about lining them with a heavy rubber butyl liner, and with specially made for that, whether you want the 45 or the 70 or the 95,000 litre, we would have a liner to fit each of those. There's very little that's very new in this world. You don't invent, the wheel. The wheel is there. You have to adapt the wheel all the time, whether you're going to have a little wheel or a big wheel or a fat wheel or a thin wheel. But that's what we did in this case. We actually adapted a technology and improved it massively and created new things like the linings and the pipe work